Hello again and welcome back to All Things LARP. Today we're going to discuss 5 topics of things you should do before you go NPC edition. NPC, cast, whatever it is you call it, are those who work for the game, whether they play the monsters, the merchants, the plot hook that brings you out to the woods to get you killed. Those are your NPCs. And if you go to a game to play as an NPC, this is what you're going to be doing during your time there. But overall, this is your job to be there to entertain the players, and in some case, and at one LARP in particular, the goats. Yes, goat LARP is a real thing. Look it up. Once again, I want to thank everybody who commented on the All Things LARP Facebook and the New England LARPers Facebook for your comments and suggestions. In this video, particularly, I'm going to do ideas that I had personally, and then chances are going to make a comment or addition to add in some further ideas. So here are some tips and strong suggestions of things to do before you enter the world of LARP on the NPC side, or some call it the dark side. Number 1, do your research. Now this one seems like it would be pretty obvious, but I have been on both sides of the aisle, whether player or on NPC, and I have many times seen people who have shown up who have no idea truly what LARP is. They came with a friend or a relative and they think, hey, they said this is pretty cool, so here I am. But often didn't know what they were getting themselves into. And sometimes even before the first night or the first few hours goes by, they think, this is not me and I really want to go home. But overall, that can create an awkward situation for just about everyone involved. And of course, it's nice that you've heard about LARP and you get yourself involved. But are you going for them? Is it for yourself? Do you understand really what LARPing entails? Do you know what goes into it? Did you expect to go to a vampire LARP for an intensive physical LARP battling? Because chances are, if that's what you planned, you're going to be disappointed. Many times those vampire LARPs do not do physical encounters. Do your research. Take some time to see what best fits for you. A dark medieval fantasy game? A more comical fantasy? Post-apocalyptic? Vampire? Or maybe you just want to run mods for goats. That's right, we're back to the goat LARP because it is amazing and hilarious. And very ridiculous. Just take some time to do some research and figure out whether or not LARPing is for you, because if it's not going to be fun, what exactly is the point of going in the first place? We're not just looking into whether or not this LARP style is going to be right for you, but also look into some more of the overall logistics. The game that you're interested in, does it have a minimum age? Would you prefer a larger LARP with hundreds of people involved, or a smaller community where just the player and the cast base together only equal 50 or 60 people? What about the size of the camp or the area you're going to be playing if you play inside of the building? How often does the game play? Does the game that you're consider playing allow plot lines or other instances which may have offensive material, such as slavery storylines or even allowing blackface that you would find or overall is found to be offensive? And yes, there still are many games out there that allow black makeup for dark elf characters. And there's a good chance that that may not be for you. So look into what LARPing is, and once you found something that may fit you, look into that game specifically and really research what they have going for them to see if that is a good fit for you, because there might be some instances that you are not comfortable with. My hair and I just do not want to get along. Number 2, find the community. So you did your research. You found yourself a game that you think is going to be a good fit for you, and their overall code of ethics is something that you think will suit you and your needs. You found yourself a medieval fantasy LARP. You want to be a brave, mighty warrior and run right into the fray of battle. Or perhaps put together some devious plans to enchant your foes and make them do evil deeds against the town, leaving you in the shadows unharmed? Wonderful. You found the game that is good for you. Now, in this age of the internet and social media, I haven't seen a game in years that doesn't have a presence. Find it. So you want to go to the Sword of Triella LARP. Go find the Sword of Triella Facebook, their Discord, their website. Seek out the people who play that game. Because LARP, at its very essence, is a social hobby. And a community can very easily make or break any game. I would say 99 out of 100 times you can jump right in. Hey, I'm Jacob or Mary or Christian or whatever, and I've never LARPed before, but I'm really looking to get into it. And I think I may NPC for an event or two. Bam, I can almost guarantee a warm welcome. Those involved will want to converse with you. They'll want to share the hobby that they love. And right away you will feel that. And quickly you will begin to feel part of that. The community is what keeps me personally going back each and every event. Seek out those who are playing the game that you want to try, whether or not you plan to go by yourself or with a group of friends. And see that it's just important that the community matches with you as much as the game does itself. Number 3, read the rulebook. And I know there are some folks that have differing views on this, and I'm not saying hit the books hard, memorize every word, every skill, every call, and that before you start there's going to be a test and you better pass, mister, or you're cut off. No, I mean take a glance at the game mechanics, the structure, get the basic fundamental understanding of what it is you're going to be doing when your time comes to be in game. Even if you plan to be a strictly roleplay NPC or a non-com, there are rules and mechanics that go with every facet of the game. If you plan to be a combat NPC, look up some basic calls and fighting mechanics. How does health work? Is the game last hit torso? What about magic? Does this game have magic? How does that work? Or if you plan to go non-com, what happens if a player or another NPC does try to attack you? You don't need to know how everything works. Hell, there are players and NPCs who have been at games for years and barely know how 20% of the rulebook works. But knowing the basics will help you and helping the other NPC and cast members who are trying to assimilate you into the game. And overall, it'll also make it more enjoyable for the players that you're attempting to entertain. My hands look like sausages. Foul. Speak to the staff. And I don't just mean small talk, hey, how's it going? I mean, approach the staff, speak to them, let them know that you're new, you've never LARP'd before, but you really want to get involved and learn. Let them know what your intentions are. Do you want to fight? Do you want to roleplay? Are you going to be a non-com? Would you like to just work as a merchant? Or do you want to go out every couple of hours as a brigand? But besides that, there are also other important factors you would want to mention to staff before you go. Do you have an injury or a personal limitation that will prevent you from fighting or doing certain things like long walks? Do you have medical needs, such as a CPAP machine if this is an overnight LARPing experience? Are there certain topics that trigger you? And I don't just mean topics that are harmful or offensive, but those that might affect you personally, and you would like to avoid working on these types of plots or storylines. These are the type of things that you will want to discuss with staff members, and I am confident that they will be open and understanding and do the best they can to accommodate your needs. Also, it's important for staff to know that you're coming in general from an overall logistical standpoint. They may have plot that requires a certain amount of people to be there, and they may count you as a cast member, and if you don't let them know that you are simply wanting to roleplay or that you are planning to go as a non-com, that they're going to include you into those numbers, and now they don't have that person. The staff will also plan food, snacks, drinks based on the number of players who they know are going. And if you have a group of 10 friends that want to go with you and you all show up before without letting them know, there could be a shortage. So overall, it is best to let the staff know ahead of time that you plan to attend, that you're new, and any other issues you may have for many different reasons. And lastly, number 5, the blacks. Now, I won't go into a list of full things that you should or should not bring in a game. That is for an entirely other list. Besides socks, bring socks. But as a member of cast and as an NPC, typically you will be supplied with the items and garb that you will need to go out. Hoods, cloaks, weapons, shields, etc. These are typically items that cast will have prepared for everyone's use. Food also usually provided by game for staff members. But there is one thing, in my experience, for doing this for almost 20 years, that you'll need for almost any and all games as working as an NPC, and it's what we call the blacks. A plain black shirt. Best to bring one short sleeve and one long sleeve, depending on the weather or other situations. I'd also suggest bringing multiples in case of time in hot weather. A black pair of pants, not jeans or cargo pants. I normally use black sweats and they use fine. I would also say that black scrubs are great for this, and some black footwear, and bam, you're ready. Show up the game with these items on and they can dress anything on you to make you look from a brigand to a fiend to a merchant to a bodyguard for a noble. You can do anything with the blacks and add on top of it for whatever look you're looking for. And now I will say there is one caveat to this whole spiel that I know from personal experience. Please take your body type into account. If you are 3 or 4 or 5 XL, understand that all games may not have tunics or shirts or pants that may fit you. This is also another thing to discuss with staff, and I know that in some cases it may be an anxious subject for you, you may feel embarrassed, but honestly, I have done this, showed up to a game, did not fit into certain things, and felt very embarrassed. So it's best to let people know ahead of time and that you can prepare yourself for any situation. Often games will have something that may fit you, something that was donated or they planned ahead, or there are other members there that are of bigger size and they have things that you can use. But it's truly best to know before you get in. Of course, I am sure you are typically welcome to bring your own items. You have a cloak, you have some other costuming that you may have used at the fair or on a Halloween or a party, or you planned to LARP before and never got a chance to go, or you just want to get certain things. I am sure that these will be welcome for you to bring, that you can add to certain costuming and certain items to really help enhance what you're trying to go for. But as I always recommend to new LARPers, do not go on a shopping spree and purchase hundreds of dollars worth of garb until you are sure that LARPing is for you.